I want to talk to you today about what starting a business, what growing a business, what scaling a business is truly like. These are the things that they don't tell you, the things that normal people don't share on YouTube videos and Facebook Lives and Facebook groups and really in most of the publications and magazines or videos you watch. I mean, the reality is that there is a reason that 80% of businesses fail. And I think it has more to do with the mindset and the attitude that you approach a business with rather than the mechanics behind it. Most businesses don't fail because they're bad businesses or they're bad people or even bad economies. They fail because the business owner, the entrepreneur, they went into it with rose-colored glasses, with an idea or an illusion, I guess, of what things would look like. And then when reality stepped in and when they got smacked in the face with the market, well, things turned out very differently. Great Mike Tyson quote that says everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. That's very much what business is like. So I want to share with you my story, my early days of starting a business and how I grew, how I evolved, and how I essentially now today have the life that I've always dreamed of, but I absolutely never thought it was going to be this good when I was first getting started. So let's rewind a decade ago to when I first left my corporate job. I was working as a business jet captain. I was done with it. I had to get out of there. So I called my co-pilot and said, dude, I got to get out of here. And he knew, everyone knew that my time was done. I really needed to stop flying and go follow my own path. So I moved back home to Canada. At the time I was working overseas, moved back to Canada and was like, all right, what am I going to do now? It was suggested to me by my wife that I look into marketing. I really didn't have any clue what marketing even was. So that just goes to show you that you don't need to have everything figured out. You don't need to be a master in order to get started. Another great quote, every master was once a disaster. That was very much me a decade ago. No idea what marketing was, but I dove in. As I started to learn a little bit more, I started to understand, all right, this is what marketing is, this is the value it provides to the market, and I started to realize that not only was I really interested in it, I had a natural knack for it. Sort of this natural curiosity and ability to start to see through problems, find solutions for them a little quicker. But this also probably came as the fact that I was super nerding out on this stuff. I was listening to marketing books in the morning. I was reading marketing books on my way to work. I was doing everything that I could to sort of flood my brain, to immerse myself in the world of marketing. Now, the early days, I did a lot of stuff wrong. I was working 14 to 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I did this for years. Really kind of took the brute force approach, just this hard-headed, pig-headed stubbornness into growing my business because I knew that if I didn't figure this out, I was going to have to go back probably to flying, which is really where my skill set was and where I'd spent the previous decade of my life building up all sorts of experience and all sorts of hours in that world. I didn't want to go back. So I forced myself through. I grinded. I struggled. I stayed up till 3 a.m. working on my laptop, sitting at the kitchen table. My wife asleep over there, my dog sitting beside me, and really just trying to figure out how am I going to do this? How am I going to get through this? How am I going to make enough money to eat and to survive? Those were my dreams. Forget about making $100,000 a year or $1 million a year, which to me at the time seemed absolutely insane. I just needed enough money so I could survive. Well, survive we did, and really this is because of just sheer brute force. This is why I get, what's the right word? I don't want to say frustrated, but a little bit jaded when people that are new to business or new to marketing ask me for advice or ask me for ideas, and I always go back and say, well, did you Google it? Have you read any books on Amazon? Have you looked anywhere else for the answers to these questions? Because the reality is, if you're not willing to put in the effort of reading a book a week, at least a book a month, doing your due diligence of buying every book on the subject you can get your hands on, spending time at the library if you can't even do that, or using Google or YouTube, well, you're going to have a really hard time succeeding in business because there's going to be a lot of things you're going to be presented with in business that aren't even mentioned in the books. They're going to require depth of understanding. They're going to be nuanced. They're going to be detailed. And if you're not willing to sort of put in the blood, sweat, and tears in those early days of building up that foundational knowledge, and essentially just jumping through the hoops of making some sacrifices, of working really hard, burning the midnight oil, whatever you want to call it. Well, it's going to be really hard when you get slapped in the face with an actual business problem, like troubles with your team, or troubles with contractors, or troubles with clients or customers, or potentially even legal issues that are all wrapped up in this wild and wonderful world of business. Anyways, let's rewind. So working there, grinding out hours, taking odd jobs that I can get, working at sporting goods stores, selling running shoes, sharpening hockey skates, doing essentially anything I can so I can continue to grow. And then suddenly, almost like magic, it just starts to click. First, I'm working for free, trying to get any experience I can. Then I make my first $100. Then I make my first $500. Then I make my first $1,000. Then 5,000, then 10,000, then 20, then 30, then 50, and it just snowballs and grows from there, almost exponentially. It was almost like I was just flatlining, barely surviving, and then all of a sudden, everything clicked. All of the weeks and the months and the years of struggle, of putting in the time, of being willing to do the things that others were unwilling to do, well, they all started to pay off, and they started to pay off really, really quickly. It's almost like I'd all of a sudden unlocked the code. I'd found the secret key involved in marketing. And to share that with you now, the secret key, there is no secret key. That's the unfortunate news of this all. The secret key is the blood, the sweat, the tears. It's those combination of 16-hour days, night after night, putting in the time, waking up early, studying, applying, trying to get clients, delivering for clients, learning from those clients, and on it goes. And that's why to this date, where we are now, fast forward many years, and now thriving, profitable businesses, doing the work that I love, impacting thousands if not millions of people, creating content, getting to share this with you. Well, all of those processes, all of those tasks, those activities that I did for all of those years, I still do them today. Still wake up at 4:30 in the morning. I study, I read, I buy every book I can, I take courses, I hire mentors, I work with coaches and consultants. I have people come in and help me with my business. I have team members and contractors, people filling in the gaps for my experience or my lack of knowledge or my lack of skills, so I can continue to focus in my zone of unique genius. That is a lot of work, and I think anybody that tries to tell you otherwise is just going to be fooling you. So if you don't want to put in that work, that's totally okay, but then business is probably not the right path for you. You should go try to work for somebody else, try to find something that you enjoy so that you can confidently and enjoyably put in the work. Because if you want to reach that top 1%, even that top 10% of success, it is absolutely doable, but you have to want it and you have to be willing to work for it.